Welcome to Judge Me Not, a safe place to have real conversations with real ass people. Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Judge Me Not. I am your host, MVD. For the people who have been waiting on this or on me to finally complete the first episode, I do apologize. It seems it took forever for me to actually gather my thoughts, sit down, and give you guys some good quality content. So I'm looking forward to your feedback, and let's start this ride. So, the first episode, we're going to talk about rebranding and the importance of rebranding, not only in your business aspect, but on a personal level too. A little backstory about myself: I am a single mom. I do work in corporate healthcare America. I decided at the beginning of COVID to become a published author. I entered the literacy world by publishing children's books. And I wasn't honest with myself, and I published books under a facade, right? Anybody who understands the switch in corporate world, you know who you are from 8 to 5 is not necessarily who you are after you clock out, right? Um so I use that same analogy for my professional world as I did my children's books, and it did not work. I had so many successful entrepreneurs congratulate me, but give me good advice of being true to myself. That the people who really liked my content was going to be loyal, irregardless of who I was and what I thought that they would perceive me as, right? But I ignored that. And I went on, I did my books professionally, even down to my photographer, who follows me on my personal social media platform. Once we actually met to do our marketing photo shoot, he was 100% confused, right? Even down to my look, um, that I was building my brand around, because from my personal content to my professional content, it was just completely night and day. Still, I acknowledged their feedback, but I was focused on doing it the way that I wanted to. Moving along, I published my books and I did great. I'm still doing good. I'm making decent money. But my audience is not who I intended it to be, right? So then I became frustrated on not being doing able to do the things that I love because I felt like I couldn't be my authentic self. Now, the people who were buying my books were people who wouldn't necessarily sit down with me and have a personal conversation or understand my perspectives on life or my dark sense of humor. So I always lived in this fear that they would stumble across my personal pages, and then I would lose a customer. But as I begin to reach out more and revisit these conversations with successful entrepreneurs of being true to yourself and building your brand around your authentic self and focusing on who you really want your audience to be, then that loyalty will come. And once that loyalty comes, then the finances will come. So I really was discouraged and I stepped back from all of my ideas and I had to say, well, who the fuck am I? I know who I am on a personal level, but how can I transcend um, the many layers of myself into my brand and what I'm going to build, right? How can I tie in my podcast with my books and the future books to write? So it took me some months, guys. Like, oh, I mean, I'm spiritual. I read the Bible. I listen to trap music. I like screw. I meditate, but I will slap you as well. So it was like I didn't know how to be my authentic self and still be professional. Because in corporate America, as a Black woman, once I clock in, it's clean cut. But I had to find comfort in knowing that I am who I am. And if they gonna fuck with me, they gonna fuck with me. If they ain't, hey, you're not my audience in the first place. So I went back to the drawing board and I had to rebrand. So let's focus on the definition of rebranding. According to Oxford, rebranding means changing the corporate image of a company or an organization. It's basically a marketing strategy. Strategy. I know what I meant. Usually it's used to keep up with the audience or the times or to distance themselves from any negative publicity that they may have received. Lots of major corporations, such as Apple, for sure, have rebranded over the years down to their logo, their mission statement, and so forth. So I had to rebrand before I even became an official brand. But now I'm at a place in my life that I am going to be unapologetically me. I'm going to articulate myself in the manner that I choose because I feel that it makes me relatable. I've been through a whole bunch of shit and I'm still going through shit. So why do I get on here and need to lie like I have everything figured out when I don't? So that is really why I made Judge Me Not, to have real conversations with real people without judgment. So here we are. So by me rebranding for my business aspect, I understood that I wanted my brand to be positive healing through communication, right? So that means through my literacy, whether it's children books or my adult genres that are to come, or my podcast or any venture that I find myself connected with, I will no longer water down who I am, my beliefs, my perspectives, or my ideology on my life because my struggle and what I had to go through brought me here, right? And not only that, I feel like it makes me more relatable. I ain't got my shit together, but I'm getting it together. So, back at the drawing board, found the confidence to go ahead and record episode 1. I hope you guys enjoy it. But we're going to keep on moving along. So, once I rebranded from my business aspect, it made me do a reality check, right? Like, why did I feel I needed to divide my professional goals from my personal goals? And why must we have the switch? Why do we go into the corporate world and water down ourselves and tweak our hairstyles and the way we dress to appease individuals, right? Are we doing this just for a paycheck? Because the truth is, once you really are aligned with your purpose, then there will be no division. Your purpose will be one with who you are, and your truth will align you with your purpose. So everyone who is meant to receive will. So then it had me going back and saying, okay, cool. Do I even know what my purpose is? Or am I just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping that it sticks? Just because you're good at something doesn't necessarily mean it's your purpose. And that's something that I've been struggling with because as an Aquarius, I'm all over the place. I'm super creative. And I try things just to see if I can accomplish it. And I accomplish it. But that means I've accomplished a lot of things, but I haven't really put my attention into one thing. So, do I know my purpose? And then it got me to think, a lot of people never really tap into their purpose and they die without actually living the life that they were put here to live. I don't want that to be me. I don't know about y'all. I don't want to go through life moving and shaking, but not actually going anywhere. And then I had to question, are the people around me, are they really fucking with me for my true self? Or are they fucking with me for my split self. And when I say split self, for my 9 to 5 personality versus my dynamic, diverse self in a whole. Fortunately for me, I don't know about you guys, but fortunate for me, the people that I'm surrounded by now really rock with me. And I really hate that I didn't take the feedback that they gave me in the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey that allowed me to be my true self. But we live and we learn, right? So I had to really retap into their feedback and myself. Why do I feel like I'm here? What can my biggest contribution be on the world? I got the gift of gab. For whatever reason, people like to hear me talk. They find me hilarious. Not only that, I've discovered through social media and TikTok and, you know, with a little humor and transparency, you really can connect with people. So I really wanted to continue to be transparent and my authentic self so I can continue to connect with people. Because in my darkest moments, I wish I kind of had somebody like me. Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. But it is important for us to constantly understand where we are in life and be honest if it's time for us to rebrand. Everybody has a past, right? Everybody did some shit that we're not proud of. Everybody done been in relationships a little longer than we know we should have. We all have some shit. I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, rich, poor. Everybody done been through some shit that we are afraid of. If somebody discovers that they would look at us differently, or it would have some type of negative impact on people's perspective or our ability to successfully achieve our goals. But that is why we must rebrand. We must treat our lives as we would our business. Once we feel that we have outgrown where we are and we need to readjust how we portray ourselves, our outside image, to connect with our audience that we feel would serve us better and we can serve them better, and to move away from the negativity, it's time to rebrand. And it's okay. You don't need permission to rebrand. I don't care if you need to rebrand 60 times in 6 years. It is a necessity, right? At least I feel like it is. So I definitely would want you to ask yourself, what is your current pattern of life? Right? For me, it is um, I achieve a goal and everything's good. And then something happens and it's negative and I get discouraged. And then I'm hard on myself. And then I'm picking myself apart. And then I'm not true with myself. And then I manipulate who I feel like I need to be in order to get where I feel like I want to be in life. Right? So I'm split again. And I'm not being my true self, but I'll reach another goal. And then things will be good. And then something negative will happen. And it's that same cycle. So I had to really sit down and understand what my life pattern was. And with this rebranding of my life, what was I going to do different? It still came back to being my authentic self. Any goal or any door that I feel is going to be opened for me, if it cannot be opened for me by me being my authentic self, then it is not a room that I should walk into. Whatever is meant for me to obtain, I should not have to decompartmentalize. Boom, I tried to use a big word. Myself in order to appease people that I feel that can help me to get to the next level. When I could just be myself and the universe and God is going to bring me the same people to put me in the doors that I'm intended to do. And then I'm not hiding anything. So That's a good question to ask yourself. What is your current life pattern? Figure it out. Sit down. What's your current life pattern? By you rebranding your life, what is your new pattern that you hope to live? Think on that. To me, personal rebranding is basically a renewing of the mind. In order to rebrand on a personal level, you have to really sit down, like separate from everybody, from your spouse, from your children, from your job. Like you have to find quiet time to really sit down with self and figure out, why am I this way? Am I being true with myself? Am I being transparent with the world? Or am I hiding parts of me out of fear of judgment or negative feedback? I feel like once we really renew our mind and find the confidence in being who we really are and who we really desire to be, we will have the peace of mind. And once we establish a peace of mind of self and our true image, then we'll attract what we are, right? Then you'll have friends and supporters that rock with you for your good, your bad, and your ugly. So you don't have no need to hide. Then you can get on any social media platform and talk about the real shit that you're really going through, because you know you're going to be able to connect with people that's going through that same shit, but you're also going to be able to help somebody who may be in that same situation. So then that's going to gravitate you that good energy that you need, that's not going to judge you. And not only can they judge you, but nobody can use your struggles against you. My biggest fear was somebody finding out something that I went through and then using it to try to diminish my light, right? I ain't want nobody going back seeing who my baby fathers were and pulling up their records, or who my parents were, or who the people that I associate were, and try to nitpick these people because they're associated with me and use that to harm me. So you always have to be mindful of who you are and the truth that you are perceiving to everyone. Can't nobody use my past on me. Okay, and what? So what? Because my beliefs are my beliefs, and I no longer give anyone the power to make me second guess who I am and who I feel like I need to be in order to be accepted. Not only accepted, but successful, right? So as I rebranded in my professional world, and I started to really ask myself these questions of why I split myself from my professional aspect to my personal life, and is this splitness keeping me from tapping into my purpose, I had to understand that with rebranding brings on new perspectives, new realities. And once I have a new reality, I form new habits and new behaviors, right? So it is imperative again for us to know when it is time to rebrand, to not be fearful of doing the work, to make the changes, to switch our life cycle, but to kind of maneuver us closer to being one and in tune with our purpose, right? A lot of us really don't find comfort in being transparent or being our true selves because we understand a lot of the pain and the trauma that we've went through. Um, and how it affected some of our life choices. Believe it or not everybody, got life figured out. And not everybody had a blueprint on the proper way to go through life. A lot of us had to go through life through trial and error. And not only that, once we fall, we had to find the strength to pick ourselves up. So once we improved and we healed our past, we boxed up and we put away. But you have to understand and be comfortable with your past in order to be whole in your present, to understand exactly where you're trying to go in your future. It all has to work in one, you know what I'm saying? Or you will be split. So I read, and it was a really good quote, and it says, pain is not the proper prophecy of destruction in your life, but the ending of one phase and the beginning of something new. Right? So that was like, okay. What does that mean for me in my rebranding? I have a saying of turning pain into purpose or turning pain into profit, right? I do not believe that we were put here to endure painful situations for no reason. There's no way. Our life purpose cannot be to continue to go from pain to okay to pain to okay. So we have to take control over our lives and utilize the pain that we endured for our purpose. We have to turn that pain into a profit. You have to figure out some type of way to utilize that heartache that you went through to catapult you closer to the destiny that you feel like you're worthy, right? Because it isn't a prophecy of defeat. It isn't something that we went through to break us. But what it is something that we had to go through to be remolded, to be reshaped, to understand that once I come out of this journey of pain, this season has passed, and I am making a choice to go into my next season with a renewed mind. Why? Because I've rebranded myself. So, again, I would like to apologize for anyone who has been anticipating on this Judge Me Not podcast. It has taken me 3 months to record my first episode, but I wanted to be true with myself and I wanted to be real with y'all because, again, this is a safe place to have real conversations with real ass people. So, I'm going to give you some homework, leave some comments, inbox me. Let's have a conversation. Give me some feedback. We are rebranding. The importance of rebranding is to remove ourselves from any negative connotation that may be attached to us and we no longer feel that it represents who we currently are, or to evolve to keep up with the changes. Why is it important for you to rebrand? What is your current life cycle? And how will rebranding affect your current life cycle? Do you have people around you that supports your purpose? But last but not least, do you have people around you that fucks with you for your real self, or are they fucking with you for your watered down version of self? Now, I need y'all to answer them questions for yourself. Do the homework for yourself. I'm telling you, since I've rebranded myself, I feel at peace. And internal peace does not come without change. Rebranding is change. So it is time for us to do a reality check. It is time for us to take back our purpose. It is time for us to take back our power and see who we are, where we are, and if it's time for us to rebrand. Thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of Judge Me Not. And until next time. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to your feedback. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Judge Me Not. Again, that's Judge Me Not. Me is MII on Instagram and Twitter. I look forward to interacting with you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. Until next time.